motivation during this period of time, then I recommend you check out the video tomorrow that I'll be sharing with Brian Kane. He's a peak performance and mental resilience type coach who works with athletes across the world, and he's got multiple books on Amazon. So you can go up and have a look and check all that stuff out. I had the privilege, I guess you could say, of interviewing Randy Santel, who is a professional eater, which I didn't even know was a thing. He's travelled around the world eating and winning competitions. I think he's got 829 challenges that he's actually beaten, but he's actually a nutritionist and dietitian. He's studying that, and he's going to be doing his internship. But he basically he eats, but he looks after his body at the same time. So he's got around 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So go and check out his video ahead of my interview. I'd love for you to go and have a look, because I was a bit intrigued by it. And apparently here in Australia, we do have a number of food challenges which I wasn't even aware of. So he certainly opened my eyes to the whole thing. And there's only, he said, about 10 professional eaters currently doing circuits around the place, and he is making a living of it. But he said it took him 7 years to get to where he was, and he's been doing it 10 years now. But he did win a Spartacus challenge, which was a weightlifting and body performance challenge in 2010, and that's how he fell into his passion. Is he hadn't eaten for some time unhealthy food, and one of his mates, after he won this particular bodybuilding competition, said, "Hey, can you come and be part of our food challenge competition?" Because he needed a team member, and he said, "Yeah, sure," because he would be the first junk food he had. So that sparked his journey, and now he's making a living out of professional eating. So there you go. Talk about falling into your passion. But his interview will come up not this Sunday, the following Sunday. My live stream with Kobe Freeman, video still up on socials, is still available for people who didn't watch it live, but that was a lot of fun, and I will be doing that every Thursday night from around 8 to 8:30 p.m. depending on who I'm speaking to and where they are in the world. So it is a streaming with friends, so I'm trying to connect with friends as opposed to people who I don't know, which most of these people I'm connecting with on my channel, probably 70%, something like that, are people I've never met before, which is always good because I learn a lot. And I like I say, I never even knew professional eating was a thing until I spoke with Randy the other day. So I'm looking forward to sharing those two interviews. I am looking for more guests. It's a little bit hard now that well, not hard so much. It's a lot of organising because I'm speaking to people around the world to set up some of these interviews because of the time zone difference. I have actually done interviews at 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning to get some of these people for you to have to check out. So that's one of the tricks of doing what I'm doing, is not all of us are in the same time zone. So it's a bit of a challenge to actually get that stuff going. I'm not sure where I'm streaming at the moment because I can't see. I can see the stream on YouTube, but I can't see it on the Facebook page at the moment. So if you're seeing it on Facebook, hit me up and send me a message because it's supposed to be there. And if you are commenting, I had a problem in the live stream the other day, so hopefully I'll sort that out before next week. I do have a mobile phone number, so if people do want to send questions, because a number of people in the live stream the other day were actually frustrated because we weren't seeing their comments and their questions. That's with Kobe, who was a PT, and myself. I do apologise for that. If you were one of those people, when we stopped the stream, we realised how many people were actually commenting and we weren't getting back to you all. So we made sure that we actually got back to you after the session, and that will happen. We had, I think at some point there, we had between 25, 30 people, averaging 15 to 20 in the chat coming in and out. We'll do that again Thursday. If you're someone that's a mate that just wants to have a chat for roughly an hour on a Thursday night, the streaming with friends will be an opportunity for you to chat about whatever interests you. There are some rules around it. You can't be swearing. You can't be defaming anyone. So, if it's something that you can hold or bite your tongue and just want to have a chat and share your audience with my audience, then by all means, make sure you connect with me to do that. I'd look forward to having you on the actual streaming with friends platform that I'll be doing over the course of the next a few months while we're in this situation. It's just one of those things that I was a little bit bored, so I thought, what can I do that may actually help? So I hope I'm streaming. I'm actually, I can't see whether I'm up on any of the platforms at the moment. It's telling me that I am, so I'm not sure who's seeing me here. So if someone is watching, can you send me a DM on Facebook so that I know that it's actually streaming to Facebook? Because that's where I want to be streaming. I can see myself up on YouTube, but not on Facebook at the moment. So yeah, if you're there, send us a comment. As I say, I'm looking for guests for both the live stream, which is the Thursday night. If you aren't someone that is, wants to be on a camera or chat, you might know someone who is. I had a couple of people sending me through information, asking if I'll do it. So cool. Thanks, Cobes. So Kobe, I spoke with Kobe the other day, and he was live with me, and we had a lot of fun. It was pretty good fun. Kobe, can you do me a favour, given that you're watching and listening? Can you tell me where it's streaming? Because right now I can't see any streams on Facebook. So yeah, yeah, loud and clear. Fish tank looks nice too. Thanks, Brendan. So Brendan as another. It's good. At least you guys are opening up in chat windows, because at least I know someone is actually watching, because it's not showing up on my screen here. I've got to work some of this stuff out. I'm still learning. Especially going live is a bit tricky. It's especially on my own. It's one of the challenges is that all my videos that I do, I'm doing myself. So being a one-man operation, it'd be nice if I had a producer to actually sit there and play with the camera operation, everything like that. So I've got it on AI at the moment. It's set up already, but people who are not aware of how I'm doing this, I'm using an expensive camera that does a lot of thinking for me. So it pre-edits on the fly. So it does cost a bit of money. I will say well, actually I got it for a bargain, but the price now of this particular device, unfortunately for some, has gone up through the roof. As you can imagine, with the current situation, the company that's producing the equipment is literally run out of stock because everyone wants to live stream in the US. So they're actually doing crowdfunding and trying to get more money to build and create more equipment. So they sort of didn't see that coming. I guess none of us did. But yeah, so that's the opportunity that I have, is to be able to go to live stream across all platforms. I do pay, like I say, for the subscription to do that, and this equipment helps me do that. So as far as the live stream, I'm just looking at Kobe. Sorry if I keep looking down. I've got messages coming up now because they're coming up in message windows, which is probably actually a better way to send a question. Actually, I didn't think of that the other day, because in the comments, everyone's comments are there. But if you send a private message, I'll set it up where I have a mobile phone too, where people can send a message on a mobile phone. We just kept going back to those, but we had a good interaction. I think we had about 50 odd comments and probably about 10 or more questions that we answered, and there were people bantering inside the chat. So we saw it as a real beneficial thing. One of the things I did get out of it, Kobe, if you're still there, is I picked up 5 subscribers on YouTube from our live stream, and also about 10 people, some of them your friends, have liked and followed the Facebook page. So that's the advantage, I guess, of going live. Brendan Adler, sorry, always get that right. Brendan Alder, I actually interviewed him. He's the VW racing. They got the second fastest bus on the planet, and I know that they were doing some works on it. So I don't know whether they've raced it since they were doing the works. It's got a $250,000 Porsche engine in it. So and it does a nice little wheel stand by accident, which is up on. I'll show that in the interview. So if you're into racing and VWs, even that interview with Brendan's pretty cool. It's actually one of the better interviews. So I'm reading your messages there, Brendan. As I said, I apologise if people are wondering why I'm looking down. But yeah, looking at his message there, and he's hoping Yeah, he's hoping to come on again. Yeah, we'll have you on again, mate. I'm trying to fill the guest list out, and then we'll have people revisit. I've already had some of the people in the US. In fact, in the interview I share tomorrow, Brian's really keen to come back on. He had a lot of fun. Alan Stein Jr. The feedback I'm getting after the videos is extremely positive from these guys who a lot of them do this for a living. So they're giving me a lot of feedback, and I'm learning along the way. That's one of the reasons I'm actually doing this is I'm doing it for an audience, but I'm finding by being forced to, obviously I'm a talker, being forced to listen, I'm actually learning a lot, and it's teaching me a lot by doing the process. And someone said, "Oh, how what's your return on investment? How much money are you making from this?" I actually don't make money from this, and I don't. I know it's going to sound bizarre. My basketball is my business now. This for me is actually a passion play right now. So if I make money down the track, the applaudable.net is actually something that I want to potentially make money from, starting with teaching people how to do podcasting. And that I was planning and booking a venue to start that, and I was working on the training program. I might be putting that up online now. The world's changing, so now's the time to reinvent. So as far as applaudable.net goes, which is my podcast network that I'm looking to establish, I'm still working on that, but I'm like a juggler at the moment. I'm trying to do as much as I can with the time that I have. And basketball not being there is actually helping me focus on this business, the new business that replaced RSU Computers. So I wound up RSU Computers in June of last year. But yeah, Brendan, we may be able to do a Thursday night streaming with friends, mate. That's probably one we can do sometime. That won't just be talking. We won't really be talking about anything but whatever we talk about and whatever people want to chat about. So we can certainly look to do that. That's my new live stream program. So what else is happening? So I'm chasing other guests, obviously, at the moment. I had hoped to have some people still come in the studio because there is a good distance between me and the other microphone, and we can maintain our distance, and I only normally have one person here in the studio with me anyway. We don't have, like I say, a production crew or anything creating the podcasts. It's just myself. So if you are someone that is prepared to come into the studio in Brisbane, but what I'll say is don't come in to try and steal stuff. I've had 2 or 3 people that have come into, when I say steal stuff, I mean they're having a look at what I'm doing and they're not interested in the podcast. I've actually experienced that now, so I'm starting to become a bit more aware that not everyone who wants to do a podcast with me is doing it for the benefit of the audience. Their necks are all, they're actually doing what I'm doing, and they're coming in to see what I'm doing. And while I don't mind sharing, I wish that I knew what their motives for coming and being involved were before having them on. So there's a couple there that I haven't shared because it became obvious as to what they were here for. So that if you do want to or have a passion that you want to share with the audience, then connect with me, but make sure you see value in what you're doing and giving it to the audience. Don't be coming in just to see what my setup is, because I probably will do a setup video down the track so that people can see what I did to set it all up. But right now, I want people to be actually genuine and come on for the right reason, which is to share their passion with the world. And it's not just passion, it's about journey and story. So if you've got a story you want to share, most of the interviews I speak with, particularly around passion, the people have great stories around how they've overcome adversity in their lives. So I'd say definitely worth, if you've got something you feel you want to share with the world, then by all means, please connect with me. You can actually message me at message-pwap@outlook.com. You can also message mail at applaudable.net. So if if you're looking to connect, then by all means do so. So I can see Foz has just stepped into the live stream. Foz, I interviewed him. He's actually an analytics guy, a video analyst for the Townsville I always get this wrong, Fire or Flames. He'll probably correct me. I'm sure he will, even though I interviewed him. I just get it wrong all the time. But yeah, in the women's NBL there, he had, again, faced some adversity and ended up getting an opportunity and ended up with a women's NBL championship ring. So never looked back. But yeah, so some of these people who I've spoken with on People with a Passion, we will do it again down the track sometime. Maybe pick some different topics to talk about. I knew it wouldn't take you long to tell me. Paul's just said it's the fire, the Townsville fire. So yeah, he's a good bloke. We try and catch up if he comes down my way. Make sure you catch up if we have an NBL season next year, which I'm sure we will. So yeah, so that's some of the things that are happening. The Randy Santel video comes out in 10 days. The other one is Brian Kane. So Paul, if you're super keen to see someone who's a good sports psychologist that works with a lot of the most elite athletes on the planet, Brian Kane, I interviewed the other day. If you're a coach or a PT, I'd highly recommend watching that particular video because I at this point in time in our lives, the perspective that Brian offers is worth listening to, and he's highly motivational. I was buzzing when I left the studio. I can see why UFC guys would actually hire him. He's actually got one of the belts of George St. Pierre on and the raps and that because he helped him get his first championship and then many others. So he gave him a belt, which I thought was pretty cool. But he's working with a number of college athletes that are up for the draft and shared a private video with me, which I won't share, but on the mindfulness process that he does, and with some of his athletes. So if you're a coach, definitely worth watching that. I got so much out of that, as I did with Alan Stein and Kevin Eastman. Those two in particular. Tom Haupt is pretty good too. So what I'll say is I won't stay. I'm trying to run down my battery a little bit before I charge up the boost stick here, which is my power bank, which is what the camera's running off to let it go longer than the 1 hour that I get out of it otherwise. So I thought I'll drain it as much as I can. So one good way to that is for me to turn it on and talk. so I'm doing that right now. But anyone who's just quickly tuned in to see what I'm talking about, I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to connect. Don't forget, if you haven't yet subscribed on the YouTube channel, I do appreciate it. One of the ways you can help guys like me do what we do is simply share. If you're on Facebook and you see a video that I produced come up, and you might not see value in it, you might be a friend who goes, oh my God, that's just Craig again. Don't like what he does, don't care for what he does. But the point is with audience is you might not, but someone or one of your friends may, and may be looking for something that they need in their lives right now, that video potentially could help them. So based on the experience of the guests that I have, and if you haven't watched, and I know there's a lot of people who haven't because they didn't even know I was doing it, but if you haven't watched and you're listening now, I'd really encourage you to go and have a look and see if there's something up there for you to do. So I'm just seeing. So Kobe was my guest on Thursday night. He's just saying that he. I'm seeing more messages. G'day, Mike. Michael McDaniel, I interviewed him. He was the MMA fighter who's got the fastest knockout in the XFC history here in the. Actually, this is pretty good. It's pretty much everyone I interviewed logging in right now. So Sammy Leone, he was the boxer, the Indigenous boxer, where he talks about the importance of yarns and telling stories to bridge the gap between Indigenous people and I'll say the word invaders because technically that's what it was or is. But the fact is it's understanding and communicating with each other that can help build understanding for the future and help us deal with the issues that we may have. And his interview was really good, and I learnt a lot from sitting down and speaking with Sammy, and another one worth watching. So Mike McDaniel, the MMA fighter, and Sammy have both joined the stream here in watching. So it's pretty cool to see pretty much a number of the people who have been on People with a Passion actually logging into the live stream. And if you're in and you're not one of those, you can check them out. G'day, Steve. So Steve's just signed in as well, Steve Giddens. So I interviewed Steve a little while back, actually, for Oswish, where he's actually, I don't think he's still got his FIBA license, but he was a FIBA agent. He might be able to correct me on that. So he basically helps athletes get professional contracts here in Australia. He has had a couple of good Aussie basketballers on his books. I don't know if you still do that at the moment there, Steve. You might be able to just, if you're listening, just throw off a yes or a no, still doing it. But yeah, so I have interviewed him, but not for People with a Passion. We might, I think he's going overseas, well, probably not now with what's going on, but if at some stage we might connect too for streaming with friends on a Thursday night there, Steve, just to catch up, given that we're not venturing out of our houses too much with what's going on. So that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, so some of the people in this stream, watching the stream, if you guys haven't watched each other's videos, because a number of you guys in here have actually been interviewed, then go out and have a look at what you guys each do, because all of you guys have got something out of the conversation with you. I don't think there's been an interview. Oh, there's probably 2 interviews where I knew people weren't here for. There was, yeah, they weren't here for I didn't feel the right reason. I still interviewed them, but I think they were just coming to have a sticky beak at what we did, or what I do and my setup and stuff, because they were in the same space as me, and I've got to. You live and learn, so I very quickly work out now what people's motives are for connecting. And it's sad that those things happen, but that's the world we live in, that some people are out for what they can get as opposed to for giving what they can give. So Ronald, he's in. Andrew McCarthy Woods, he's a bit of a streamer and a podcaster himself, and radio guy and tech. I think I'd throw you in all those categories, Andrew. I hope you're doing well, mate, and thanks for streaming the Ryan Elson interview. He's probably out working a little bit hard running for the Division 6 of the Moreton Bay Regional Council elections today. When I interviewed him, he wasn't looking to actually be a councillor, or he wasn't looking at politics. But yeah, the fact he's gone into it, I know one of my clients is actually a councillor, currently a councillor who's retiring, and had good words to say about Ryan, and said that he would vote for Ryan if he actually if he was in that division, and that was pretty cool to have his endorsement. I haven't told Ryan that, but yeah, he said that anyone asks or what they think of Ryan, he would say he would be a good fit for the Moreton Bay Regional Council at the local elections. But thanks for actually, sharing that on News AU, your streaming platform for that, for radio. I think that's the Caboolture's base. You might be able to clarify that. I think that's their online streaming platform, and you've helped set that up. But if there is a podcast, mate, that you do want to reshare on that platform that you see benefit to the audience or listeners, I am trying to build audience, so audience share for me is a huge thing. I established applaudable.net at the start of the year, which is actually hopefully developing into a podcast network. I'm connecting with people, and I know you do podcasting. But Ryan's definitely a good person. I reckon it'd be pretty cool to have him. I reckon it'd be really pretty cool to share some of the others on the News AU live stream, and more than happy for you to connect with me again if there is any interview there you feel would benefit your audience. Then connect with me and just say, hey, can we push this one up on News AU, and I'm more than happy for you to do that, as it's audience sharing, and the value that those videos bring and the time and energy, as you'd know, that goes into producing something is actually, you want to know that there's value for your listeners and or audience. So I know you work in the same space as me. I have seen your streams, and I've seen where you're doing your multiple desk stuff. I find that interesting, and I also know how it works. So I'm always, watching what other people are doing as well, and I'm sure you are me. So maybe sometime you can come into the studio for the right reasons, and we can have a chat too, and that would be pretty cool. So, g'day, Dave. Dave's out. I can see he joined. I don't know if he's still there. And Stella. Hope you guys are well and safe, and hope that Nick got back home from college safe, Stella. I'm pretty sure he did. And yeah, collaboration is key, actually. I just see a comment there from Andrew. I agree 100%. A lot of the people that I've connected with are actually, those people are helping me build my audience, and I'm helping create their content. And big interesting one will be the individual that I just spoke with, Ryan Santel, who's a competitive professional food eater or professional eater, who has over 1 million or around 1 million subscribers and 1 million followers. It'd be interesting to see what traction this program may get through collaborating with someone like that, and also Brian Kane, who's up tomorrow, who's worked with MMA fighters, and is sought after as a sports psychologist working with the best athletes in the US. So I can see there's people having conversations in the live stream. That's pretty cool. So my stream's actually stopped, but I can see the chat window still going. When I say the stream stopped, my window's locked up. So you guys are obviously overloading the chat, unless I've hit pause. Yeah, so that's all good. So I won't hold it too long. I am trying to run down the battery. If anyone's got any questions in the chat, I'm more than happy. G'day, Jimmy. Got more than happy to take any questions about anything that I'm doing or have done, or any plans for anything else I might be doing. I am trying to reinvent myself a little bit, given that the basketball's died down. So this is providing an opportunity for me to work on my podcasting, but also to learn from others as well. So one of my plans is hopefully to step up. I've got about 9 people who have connected with me from the US who still want interviews, but I'm going through their pitches to see whether they bring value to the audience. Not everyone who wants to be on People with a Passion actually matches what my motivations for doing it actually is. So therefore, if we're not the right fit, then I'm probably not going to have them on. But there is an interesting one, Harlequin Grimm, who is a podcaster in the US, who does and looks at history and they're actually an undertaker. So I don't know. My biggest question for them is their name Grimm legit, or have they changed it? Because the personality sounds quite dark. The images I've seen of that particular individual is quite dark. They're an emo